It's star 1978, star 8378, Nicole, Cattaruzza. It's June 2nd, 2022. Just watching Eyewitness News at noon. Lewis had taken me somewhere today. And then we ended at this lunch place that just opened. I'd never heard of it before, with an interesting name that required like further looking into, which in our whatever we did just to try to translate the name, because the name itself stood out in this awkward way. Didn't really describe what kind of restaurant it was. It was not something retail-wise I'd ever heard of, like not a food court, not an everyday activity kind of a thing. So not investment-wise, but just in like consumer confusion. Discovered this place and then looked into what it meant. Turns out it has something to do with Hawaii, which I thought was interesting. I'm like, we couldn't quite put our finger on it. He thought it was one thing, I thought it was another, but whatever. Then I come home and News 7 at 12, Eyewitness News, they have a story on about this Porsche dealer, or this foreign exotic car dealer, and they ask him how he got his start. And he's like, oh, I was an investment banker in New York, and back in the day, like, you had to order these parts if you had, like, a non-American car from, like, Germany or whatever. And then he says, like, my ears prick up when I hear investment banker, capitalist, whatever. Because he said he opened his own car enthusiast shop to customize like McLarens and Porsches and cars I have never even heard of. And he's got a big clientele for it apparently. But he said that he got a start because they would order them. You'd have to wire money overseas, and then they'd mail in the parts. But sometimes, like, a lot of times they didn't fit. They weren't for the cars that are here. Now, knowing that the system is broken, the world's broken, and we have a real infestation of multiple angles playing at the same time, I'm thinking, and of course myself being in this flagged unit at the moment, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, so if you're ordering parts from overseas, like the Inquisitor comes out in me, if you're ordering parts from overseas and they're not fitting the dealership stock cars, what does that mean to you? Like New York investment banker, because like for him it was like gold mine, let's go do something out somewhere else. For me, I'm thinking that means that shipping and containment at arms, legs, and navels has a counterfeit problem, because if you have machine precision parts on an already stocked car, and then you go for custom parts that are made by the manufacturer for that stocked car, they should fit like a glove, like it just came off the machinist's, like, whatever machine. If they're not fitting, that means there's Homeland Security issues. Hello? But it seems like they're not so smart in this area for like keeping things neat, tidy, and safe for like one of your own. I mean, like, there's big problems going on, in case you hadn't noticed. People are disappearing, big populations are disappearing. Money and jobs and like ability to like enjoy yourself seem to be disappearing. But then I see yo-yos like this that are like taking part in like the broken system in like worst ways. And then after this piece, they show me New York City Sanitation actually has a resident artist. I'm like, what the? So New York City's spending tax dollars on, so this one guy sits somewhere in New York City in some kind of a warehouse, and he takes, well, I'll put it on, but he takes paint and he paints over like the old signs in an artistic way. And I'm like, and somebody pays him for that? Like, I mean, again, I can't seem to find a job that fits my personality type or like whatever in my entire life, and keeping safe. But yet, I mean, all these people get, like, what, angel investors to invest in concepts and constructs of, like, painting garbage is literally what he does, and somebody pays him for that. And I can't, within this life frame, in the same area, find somebody to pay me to do something. It's a little confusing. It just, like, in logic and rationale, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up. Something's wrong. Something bigger than what I'm currently describing is going on in an existential way, and I really don't see an avenue to, like, hand raise and go, right, I've heard this thing my entire life, white privilege. I've never actually seen it in motion. Like, I've actually been at the other end of that, where it's been used against me my entire life. So, I don't know if, like, false narratives, but there's something going on that's wrong around here. So, this is what this looks like.
Locally, for the luxury car owner or enthusiast, there's a play that's just a day trip away in Pennsylvania, and they say it is worth the drive. The folks at Fab Speed have made an art out of personalizing fancy cars. You might want to check it out.
Hi, I'm Drew Koblitz, car collector and enthusiast, and I'm here in Fort Washington at Fab Speed Motorsports to check out all sorts of interesting stuff they have going on inside. Super excited to see what they have going on.
The services we provide in this industry, it's called aftermarket performance parts and accessories.
Which seems like a good idea if the cars are really... I mean, like, again, I'm in an area, in a metropolitan area, where fuel and stuff, I don't know what they're putting in the gas tank. And, like, again, if they're actively participating happily in the kill shelter for, like, withdrawing all oxygen from the air and asphyxiating themselves, like, how do I become the dog at the same kill shelter, because Pennsylvania's only a couple hours from here, that raises her hand and says, listen, I got 4 pups and myself, and we need a forever family, because this is a problem.
We take care of the Porsche owners, Ferrari, McLaren, Lamborghini, and the new Corvette C8 that went mid-engine. So aftermarket performance accessories to enhance the sports car sound, make more power, and let people personalize their cars so they don't all sound or look the same. I'm Joseph Fabiani. How this all got started. Basically, I was working in New York in investment banking, venture capital, and I'd always been a sports car enthusiast, and I wanted some performance parts to wake up my car like I'd done my American cars, and there was nothing on the market that was acceptable, and the offerings that were out there were coming from Germany or elsewhere, and you had to wire transfer money over, and these parts came in. Often they didn't fit, they were really expensive, and half the time they didn't even work properly, so I started making my own systems for my...
Like, isn't there, like, an international system? I mean, anywhere. Was in the big network of investment banker and capitalist. I mean, showbiz, hello. I mean, he had people, he knew things, kind of, sort of. Like, shouldn't they be calling over, like, or hollering out somehow, like, oh, America's got Porsches, but the Porsche parts don't fit. Does the company Porsche, like, where are they in all of this spectrum? I mean, don't they want to know so they can fix their outriggers or whatever they're called and whatever?
My own personal car.
Full story at localish.com. Sponsored by Spectrum Mobile. Unlimited for only $20.
But now, in the same time, New York City talk about complete waste of money, but somebody's enjoying art. There's municipal work that somebody's child is getting paid for every day in the city as part of this city administration that is here, and I have no idea how they got chosen. And this person goes to work and gets to play around with paint and signage in a municipal, like, career with a pension, a paycheck, like, sustainable life inside of this kill shelter. Or non-kill shelter or whatever. I mean, like, at a kennel level of dog in some dog fight, and, like, I just need a forever family. I don't know how I got stuck with this lot. And again, like, I'm in New York City. I graduated from a facility that was inside New York City limits at the time in 1995, 1996. And there was no presentation of anything city about how to construct myself in a civic manner or civil manner in order to sustain enough income, as other municipal city workers are able to do, in order to self-sustain, or in order to get to whatever level of hierarchy or body order outside of the norm that I needed to be at. There was no family representatives, not fit forever family, not whatever's working this area. There was just nothing. They let out, and it was just, they're on their whatever they're doing, workarounds.
Our children.
Some people may not associate the city sanitation department as a thing of beauty, but you might want to think again after you take a look at this. Eyewitness News reporter Jim Dolan introduces us to the man turning trash into art.
Somebody appropriated tax dollars or city dollars, some administration's dollars, to pay for this person's child to do this for a living, while there are other children who don't even know what career fields they'd be good at or that they should even look into, don't even have a word construct as to how the city's being run or where their niche might be in an NINCHE, big fancy word, woohoo.
There is a place deep in the cavernous reaches of the sanitation department's garage in Woodside, so filled with light and beauty, you might think it misplaced. But this is exactly where it belongs.
Currently, I'm making everything through a sanitation lens.
Stowe Lynn is the sanitation department's artist in residence. His job, his obsession just now, is finding beauty in the trash.
There's a lot of magic in the mundane. I mean, I think there's a magic in the flow system, that the sanitation department does to get your garbage to where it needs to go. There's a choreography to it. That's beautiful, actually. There's beauty in the signs.
The signs?
I don't disagree. I've also heard that there's all sorts of, we'll call them angel investors at the moment for lack of a better term. I have no idea how artists don't starve. Like, I have no idea how that echelon of people, I mean, I've heard of the most ridiculous things I've seen every now and again they'll spotlight some of the most ridiculous things that they try to pass off as modern art, and these people are getting millions of dollars for it. How is that possible when like hard work, showing up to try to accomplish something? It's like spinning your wheels, for me anyway, and not getting anywhere. I have no idea how they deconstructed the system and built it to filter money, opportunity, and whatnot to something else completely, which I've been left out of.
Old ones especially are a bit of a focus for some of Stowe's work these days. A dollop of paint here and another over there. And in an old school silk screen construct, he has married his modern sensibilities with the artisans of the past.
I've used the old designs, but then I've created my own marbling on top, and added my own different colors.
Sanitation isn't like other government jobs. Here, stuff has to get done. Snow needs to be plowed. Trash needs to be picked up. Mayor's administrations hang in the balance. There's not a lot of time here for self-reflection, unless you're Stowe.
For me, it was about absorbing.
I see the journalist and I are just as confused as to how art made its way into this transportation thing.
In embodying the role of sanitation through the labor, through the visual language, through the people, and then I could respond with artwork.
Artwork that gives honor and dignity to a job most folks don't much like to think about. But Stowe Len does. His assignment with sanitation will last a year. It's paid for in part by the city's Cultural Affairs Department. In Woodside, Jim Dolan, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Who knew that we had an artist in residence at the sanitation department? Thank you, Jim, for introducing us.
Only in New York.
Awesome.
And so good that I kept on saying it this morning. I want some of those pieces.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
It's really good. Not a thing of art so much. You know what? New York, the skyline is always a thing of art.
There you
Doesn't
go.
matter if it's hazy, cloudy.
There you go.
There you go.
It is. It looks good with any.
Well, it's just confusing how there's been exceptions made to every rule, it feels like, where there's been crafted little niches for like other people's kids in the city or in Long Island, in all sorts of like daily tasks, daily function, a sense of purpose, with money attached to it so they can survive on their own and they're not contributing to be part of the problem, with like a water and food scarcity thing that others bring when they just whatever. So it's interesting because I'm still trying to figure out like what are the words for the career I would be good at. Like I wasted so much time sitting at a desk and there's been no like real. I see other people have. Where did my representatives go? Star 1978, Star 8378, Nicole, Cattaruzza, it's Earth, Solar System, Milky Way, Universe, Galaxies, Broken. In Speyside Station, Bayside, New York, 11361.